Welcome back to an all-new episode of One on One with Courtney Starks. And joining me today is singer and songwriter LeVelle. LeVelle, my man, thank you for being here.
Hey, thank you for having me.
No, it's an honor. I always, when it comes to this R&B, soul music, there's something in my heart, man. So I'm honored to have an opportunity to celebrate you, give you your flowers today. Um, and just get to know you a little better. Can we do that?
Absolutely.
Let's
Absolutely.
go. Let's start. So let's talk about growing up in Kansas City, the heart of America. I don't care what no one says. It's always going to be New York, but I'm going to let you have it today. Okay? Today. So let's talk about growing up in Kansas City and what that music scene was like for you.
Growing up from Kansas City, it was an experience because on my mom's side, everyone is either singing or musically inclined, and on my dad's side, it's the same thing. So I grew up going to concerts and Sunday services and quartet conventions like on a regular. So it was just music from me from the start.
Yeah, yeah, because it's in the blood. There's no
Absolutely.
way out of it.
Yeah. It's something I definitely can't shake.
So at what point did you say to yourself, you know what, I got the gift? Can we all have a aha moment when it comes to the things that we're called to do? For you, when was that?
Actually, singing with my cousins, sensational wonders back here at home. I used to watch my other cousin Michael sing, and his voice was so unique, man. And I watched how people react to him singing and how he would touch people. And I grew up as a drummer, uh, so drums was like everything to me. But watching him, it was a great role to follow because I kept saying, when I grow up, I want to be able to touch people like I've watched my cousin do for so many years. And so one Saturday in rehearsal, I got the opportunity to play drums and sing at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's when I discovered that I may have something with singing. It became a love, and once my cousins them gave me the approval, uh, like you need to definitely continue to do this. It was like something I went for like instantly, and then I stayed in the basement a long time, but coming out in my first opening, coming out singing in front of people, I watched how people react and how they moved. And so I was like, wow, I really can do this.
Yeah.
So it was definitely something that I just kept doing, man. And the more I've done it, the more I hunger for it. I'm careful on talking about anyone with an addiction now, because music, being on stage doing something with music is my addiction. Like I gotta have it. If I'm not in the studio recording, I'm planning a new show, or I'm on a stage, or I just gotta have music. That's part of my daily life. I gotta have it. That's an addiction for me.
Yeah. But you know something? It's a healthy one. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
For those of you who are watching, it's a healthy one, guys. So we're still going to judge you out here. We're still going to talk with you and want to support you if you have another one, another addiction. But when he's talking about something really healthy, but it's when you are called to do something and you are passionate about it. Of course, it's something you wake up and go to sleep wanting. You know what I mean? You yearn it. You know what I'm saying?
Or wakes you up out of your sleep
because that's the one, right? When you have the song in your heart and it gets you up and you got to put it down, right?
Yeah. I've done that so many times.
So let's talk about your inspiration. Who have you felt like you molded yourself behind? Some of the greats that you've followed in their footsteps.
Definitely, I would have to say my cousin Michael Boykin. I have to give him his flowers because that's a guy that I watched so long. But then when I go to the great people, you got Sam Cooke, you got Gerald Levert, you got your Charlie Wilson's, the Otis Redman, the Frankie Beverly and Mazes, the OJs, you know, those guys, Luther Vandross, Gerald Levert, you know, and how those guys really, you know, when they sang, it moves people. So coming up, I was watching those guys, and you know, on the gospel side, you know, the sky's the limit, because you know, everybody got something, you know, to do with gospel. So you know, just watching great people, you know, like them. Of course, for me, out of all of those guys that I've watched, you know, and then later in life, you come along with the Dave Hollisters and the Tanks and the, you know, the Genuines and all of those guys. But it was just something about how Gerald did what he did on stage. He just, you know, I love his
a different level of soul, right?
Absolutely, man, absolutely. And so me having the opportunity to be out with Charlie Wilson 2019, I love his work ethics and how he drive, how Charlie drive. But Gerald is somebody that eventually I want to get to that type of level of where everything is left on the stage. You know? Gerald
just drop it all.
Yeah, just drop it all, man.
Yeah. So, you know, I want to keep up with this inspirational theme right now. And a lot of times, for those of you who are watching, we are in our callings, we are doing the thing that we love, we are yearning it, we are passionate about it, but life be lifing, right? Things happen. How do you stay inspired, or how have you stayed inspired even when things didn't always look so, you know, unicorns and butterflies? How do you remain positive in those moments?
I think most importantly for me, I have to go back on my my bringing up. Then I have to go back on what I stand for. I have to go back on my faith. I have to go back on where I see myself. When I say that, at some point, you know, just my thoughts and my feelings, when you're out being negative, or your message is negative, or it's kind of disrespectful, it seemed like those guys get a break real quick in the industry. And when you're trying to stay positive and, you know, put a message out that, you know, it's okay to love again. It's okay to treat that man the way he deserved to be treated. It's okay to treat that woman with respect. And then just getting back to self-love and respecting one another. It takes a toll, because it takes a little more time to get there. But when you're truthful to who you are, in spite of what goes on, you keep pushing, you know, because eventually, you know, it may not happen today, it may not happen tomorrow, but at some point, my point will come across, and I'll be able to stand, you know, who I am. You know,
I love that you said that, because I feel like we're in a time right now where the generation has shifted, and so has the music, right? Well, before, it was the words, and like you said, the message behind soul music, R&B music, just clean music that just said, I love you, and it's okay to love me back, right?
Absolutely.
And now we're in a time where people have meaningless words on a good beat, and we're jamming out, not even knowing what the words are anymore. You know what I'm saying? If the beat is good, you got a hit, and you really don't. You know what I mean? And I'm not
you
don't.
You
don't. And I feel like for people like yourself, when you hear the word, or you hear the statement, R&B is dead, how does it make you feel?
I understand why they say that, but it's not dead. And I guess when I say I understand, the titles that they're calling R&B, Now R&B was soul, R&B was passion, R&B was love, R&B was, you know, putting your heart into it. Now it's about drugs, killing, you know, and that's R&B. You know, it then became, and no offense to the rappers, but they look at rappers as R&B.
R&B artists, yes.
That's, you know, that's not R&B. And I do feel like when guys really get back to putting out that good music, then we can help bring that true meaning of R&B back. You know, when we can get to those songs, like you just said, I love you, and you actually heard it through the song. You know, substance, the music with substance. You know, when we get back to that, and for me, it's about our youth. Music that they can hear and want to do things positive versus wanting to get in the music business for the jury, the cars, the women, you know, and not knowing a lot of this stuff is make, but it's not real, you know.
And at all.
And you got guys that are making it, that are talking about killing and drugs and never shot nobody, never dealt with drugs, but this is what we're putting out, you know. And back in the day, now it's okay for our ladies to go make the money and be in the strip club, and it's okay for the norm is, you know, calling them bees, and that's normal now. You know, when I was coming up, you couldn't do that, you know. So it's just a matter of getting back to the respect of music and the love of music, and bringing that substance back, and the passion and the love. And I think that start with us as artists that really say we do R&B, you know. If, you know, collectively, if we can get back to that, I think I truly don't believe R&B is dead, but I do believe we need to do better of bringing, you know, better music and quality.
And like the art of storytelling, back then music had a story. It had it had a beginning, a middle, and an end, and you journeyed your way through it. You felt all of it. You know what I mean?
So now it's just like, instead of that guy saying, you know, let's go rolling, let's go cruising, let's go have dinner, let's go, you know, hold hands, let's go do this, it's right to the point. B, you gonna give me this blah, blah, blah. And they love it. And I'm sitting there like,
what is wrong?
This is crazy.
What are you talking about?
So it's a new day, but like I said, you know, the guys that are really doing this, you know, and I know we have, as artists, we have to move in time, but in order to teach one and reach one, we have to stand for something.
I agree. I totally agree. So let's talk about your first album, My Journey Continues. After someone who had been able to taste what this feels like, what did that feel like, creating your first debut album and allowing the world to hear who LB was?
Man, it was a great feeling to get the response that I've gotten to this day. It's a feeling unbearable, and especially when you start getting emails and texts where people are covering your songs performing live. It's a feeling that's part of my addiction. Like when I hear that, I just want to create more and get the message out, you know. And then, you know, I've been blessed to have some great people team up with me on my first project, my sophomore project that just came out, Promise of Love. I've been really blessed. So the song with me and Anthony Hamilton, it's still doing very well. I think we over 8 million streams on that song alone. So it's you know, for me, it's about touching someone, you know, touching someone along the way, trying to make life better. It's a great feeling. And so I'm trying to repeat that. I'm trying to double, you know, we did 8 million, I want 30 million.
Come on,
you know?
come on.
So, and that's part of what my journey is just pushing great music and touching someone along the way.
Yeah. When you think of, just to kind of stay on this in this album lane, right? You journey now to a sophomore album, Promise to Love. And I heard a lot of growth and development from one album to the next. So tell us, what did you learn about yourself? How did you grow to be able to create such an amazing album? And ladies and gentlemen, not just any album, not just any singles, these songs are hitting the billboards. So they have status, they have fundamentals, they mean something, guys. So let's talk about it. How did you feel creating this sophomore album, and what did you go through to get there?
I think going through my freshman album, and I definitely have to give my brother his flowers, Jay Sean Champion, which is the brother of Jason Champion of Men at Large. Me and Jay Sean do all the writing, but Jay Sean is a guy that I can wake up at 2 a.m. and say, I'm alone and I need you here right now. And about time I doze off and wake back up, he didn't created a whole song. But he knows enough of me to know where I'm going and what I stand for. So I definitely have to, sorry about that. Jay Sean is a guy that he knows what I stand for.
Yeah.
And for me, I guess I'm stubborn when it comes to really trying to spread the word of love back, the respect back. And I just refuse to settle for the fad or just trying to be popular. This is who I am, you know. So I just think and know that if I don't stand for something, then I'll fall for anything. And that's kind of where I want to make sure I'm separated, because like you just said, songs back in the day were at least 3 minutes and some change.
Right.
You know, they had a beginning, they had a middle, they had a bridge, then they had a closure.
Yes.
So getting back to telling stories, getting back to the part of just really giving you a visual of what I'm saying, that's part of me doing things back the way that they were. So some people do get it, you know, and I'm not knocking the guys that are doing a 1:50 song. But I just want to get back to telling stories, getting back to doing that. So for me, it's just, like I said, staying true to who I am and growing at the same time of another level of saying things without physically saying it. I mean, you know, it's, and then once again, I love creating music that the whole family can listen to the project.
Yeah. You know, when you think about your album, your sophomore album, what is the song? We all have one. What is the song that really touches you? That really kind of gives you that, for me, I know mine, but what is yours?
I'm curious to hear yours.
So Always is it for me. It just does something to a boy, and yeah, it just takes me there. But for you, what is yours?
I would, and see, it's kind of tough for me because I'm the guy.
Yes, it's your music, right?
Yeah, and and the way we do our craft, I'm telling my secret. Back in the day, you know, you had to buy a whole album to get one song.
Yes.
But then when things start changing and times changed, it went to streaming. So if you came out with a new album, you could just go to that one song you wanted and streamed it, you know. So I wanted to go back to the format of thinking every song could be a single. So, okay, always is that song. But if they go listen to Work It Out, or they go listen to What Love Sound Like, or Only If, it's like, wow, man, I can't quit listening to that song. I love this song. I'm grooving to Work It Out. But What Love Sound Like is just like, it's right now, you know, especially when you're in a relationship. Sometimes I want to go right. Sometimes she want to go left. Sometimes I'm wrong. Sometimes she's right, you know, or, you know, vice versa, or whatever, you know, whatever you're going through in life. So for me, all of it moves in a different way, but always takes me back to what we're talking about now, substance. It takes me back to the Temptation days, the OJs, the you know, it takes me back to those days where you told a story. And I mean, when you really listen to Always, it just, you know, if you definitely, whoever you love, it will make you think like, man, you know, because especially if you've been through a lot in life with relationships, you know, starting off, it says, where did you come from? It seemed like you came from heaven. You add a 3 and a 7, and that's what you are. Meaning you a 10. You know, it's like, how did you do it? And so it's one of those things, man, where you're telling the story. You know, you letting that person know what they do to you. You know, it's just a great love song. And it just make you think, you know, what you're blessed with.
So
you know?
True. So true. So true. So this sophomore album is actually doing really well. What do you want your fans to take away from listening to it?
For me, everything, what matters to me right now is just for people to take away that this is love. This is a blessing right here. This is something that, you know, I would want my kids to listen to. This is something that I can listen to, and it's something that I can relate to. And so for me now, my goal and the team's goal is to really just get out and just touch the world, you know. And my thing is, I just want you to know at the end of the day, it's cool. It's okay to love again. It's okay to be loved. It's okay to love yourself. Self-love is everything. And it's okay to you know, demand your significant other or whoever, you know, you love or they love you, that, you know, you guys have respect for each other, you know. So just for me, it's just really getting back to love and knowing it's okay to love again.
Yeah. If you could thank anybody, I'm only gonna give you one person that has been along this journey with you, that has supported you and just held you down, who would they be and what would you say to them?
Man, it could be more than one person.
Only one. I'm only giving you one.
Man, it's so many. It's so many because I've been blessed to be around some great leaders. And I'm going between the two, between Eric Nolan Grant of the OJs and Steve Harvey. You know, because they both, I go with Eric Nolan Grant. Okay. I would go with Eric Nolan Grant of the OJs. I was actually out on tour and he discovered me. And he made a bunch of calls while I was on the stage performing. And when I got off stage, you know, to have one of the OJs approach you and really meant every word he said. Of course, with Eric came Eddie and Walt of the OJ. So I would just say thank you so much. And I'm pushing as hard as I can to make him and make everyone that has supported me along the way proud. You know, it's not an easy task.
Yeah.
It's hard trying to be positive. And, it's even harder, and this may sound crazy, it's even harder when you don't look at what you love, a bag.
Right.
Because if that was the case, I'd have been done a long time ago. I didn't probably spend out more money creating and trying to be who I am versus the money that have came in. So, you know, I would just say thank you to Eric because he keeps me grounded, and he's one of my major inspirations on, you know, staying afloat.
Yeah, and you know, you said something just now, and I always say this when I'm speaking to guests, like when you love what you do, the bag is going to come, right? It's going to make space for you because it's meant to be there. And just loving what you do allows that substance and that foundation to continue building. You know what I mean? Like once we tie our gifts to the money we make, like you said, we're done. We're done for. So let's talk about a conversation, right? What would you say to your younger self, the young LeVelle that was searching for his identity, that was searching for what this gift was and what it would look like? What is that conversation to him now?
Once again, this may sound crazy as well too. I don't think I would change anything. I probably would drive a little harder after certain situations came in my life.
Yeah.
Right after that, I would have drove a little harder. But I'm grateful for the experience and the journey because I've learned how to do and what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
And I believe that if it was just gave to me, I wouldn't appreciate what I've you know have accomplished this far. And I think that's one of the parts where experience is a great teacher. And then I'm one of those guys that don't really like bumping my head. So I've been blessed to have great people like Charlie Wilson, Tank, Dave Hollister, Anthony Hamilton, Raheem Devine, Kavan, After Seven. I've Frankie Beverly and Mays. I've had great people give me a great path.
Yeah.
And things to do the right way. I can always hear Frankie tell me once or twice a week in my head. Frankie would say, LeVelle, I don't want you to focus on being famous. He said, because famous people come and they go. He said, but I want you to focus on gaining your fans, showing your fans love at all times. He said, I've never won a Grammy. He said, but to this day, 40, 50 years later, I can still sell out 18, 20,000 seat arenas by myself.
Come on.
So,
come on, Impact.
And that came from the simple things. If the fans have bought a ticket to come see you and you're walking out in the audience or you're walking out, of course they're going to want to take a picture. Of course they're going to want to say hi. Stop. Say hi. Take that picture. You know, and long story short, I did that. I was blessed to go out with Anthony Hamilton on the Maxwell and Joe tour. The Black promoters did it.
Yeah.
And lady walked up to me and she said, you look really nice. And can I take a picture? And I said, sure. You know, now I didn't know who the lady was. But to come to find out, she was one of the head programmers and radio personalities for WGCI.
Wow.
And she was the host. And so I just went to Chicago about 2 weeks ago, me, After Seven, and Kenny Lattimore. We had a big show, and so I had a live interview at WGCI. that same lady was the one to interview me. And she spoke highly of how I treated her, how I was, you know, outgoing, you know, I was very friendly. And she was just saying, we don't have this in the industry so no more. A lot of the artists, you can't talk to them, you can't take a picture, you can't, you know, and that's part of Frankie telling me, treat everybody right, man.
Right.
You know, do right by everybody. You never know who they are. And so for me, like I said, going back to that, man, it's the small things that I've learned, you know, on this journey. And I'm grateful for this path, because I know that this will keep me in a place of, you know, at my lowest, you know, I still fight through adversity. So it's like, I'm glad I went through that, you know, because I'm going to do all I can to sustain where I need to be. Yeah, man, to keep soaring and be like that eagle, you know, bird. Other people can't fly as high, you know, but I'm trying to be like that eagle, man. I'm keep soaring, you know. So that's the goal for me.
Okay. And what is coming up next, and how can we continue supporting you?
Man, so what we're doing, we're getting ready to shoot the video for Always.
Nice.
Always is getting ready.
If you need a body, just contact me.
So you were in New York?
I'm in New York.
Okay, so right now it's between Atlanta and New Jersey, where we're going to shoot the video, but we'll know this within the next week, so we have to stay in touch.
Yes.
So we're getting ready to shoot the video. It's getting ready to go to radio worldwide. And so the key is now is just really getting, you know, together on a tour. Because for me, it's really time to put the face with the songs. I want people to really get out here to know LeVelle. So right now, that's the game plan, to get this song going and get out and hit the road, and so LeVelle become a household name.
Come on. Man, LeVelle, thank you so much for joining us today. I feel like I gained a brother in this conversation, man. I appreciate you for stopping by. Please, everybody who's tuning in right now, make sure that you're following this young king, supporting all of his music, just because I said so. That's it.
Yeah.
Just because I said so, and just because it is impactful. Like he said, people may not remember a lot of things, but they will remember how you make them feel. And this music will make you feel things that you didn't even know you could feel.
Absolutely.
I'm telling it to you right now. So please make sure you go out and you support. And I thank you, most importantly, for tuning in to another episode of One-on-One with Courtney Starks. I am Courtney, and the brother to the other side of the screen is LeVelle. Thank you for joining us, and you have a great evening.
Thank you so much.